guys ever seen those horror stories of a kid uses his mom's credit card to buy a lot of in-game items? Almost every single video talking about this on YouTube is basically fake. And most of these cases are heavily over-exaggerated, but with this story, imagine being the parent waking up and finding $8,000 of your hard-earned money shilled out for Roblox. I will say though that fortunately this story does have a good ending to it. Like this video in the next 3 seconds to save the $8,000. So this story is very recent and it comes from an Australian news publisher called A Current Affair. And I saw this specific story pop up in my timeline with a 6-year-old boy that racked up an $8,000 bill on an iPad without their parents' knowledge. And let me quickly emphasize, like, dude, this is legit, like $8,000 that this 6-year-old accidentally spent on their iPad. Like, to a lot of people, that's life-changing money. That's stuff you can buy a car with. So when I saw this, I instantly decided to investigate it and saw that it actually had to do with Roblox. Let's go ahead and begin this story. The drama begins during the strict virus lockdown when the kid was doing homeschooling on his mom and dad's iPad, and during lunch and recess, he was also using his iPad to play Roblox. But because of the fact that he was 6 years old, every time he became distracted and left the iPad, it would lock, requiring either his mom or dad, who were both working from home, to leave their work to use their thumbprint to unlock the iPad. And after a dozen or so times, they left it so the young kid could unlock the iPad with his phone, and therein lies the problem. Now, I'm fairly positive that everyone's reaction upon me reading that sentence was probably, "Oh, God, no." To recap before we continue on this story real quick, the 6-year-old used this iPad constantly for his schoolwork and also played Roblox on it. But being a 6-year-old, his attention span would not be the greatest, which required his parents to have to continually keep unlocking the iPad with their thumbprint. And this got to the point because they both work from home and it kept wasting their time, where they left it so that the young child can end up unlocking it on his own. Definitely not the most fantastic idea to have with a 6-year-old child using an iPad, but let's continue, shall we? Well, you see, the thing about this specific iPad is that the iPad had his mom and dad's bank account credentials on it, which were both linked to Roblox, and then they explain what Roblox is and how people can buy items inside of Roblox games. We all know this. This is a really dangerous thing to have happen, especially if a young kid that doesn't truly understand the concept of money, because there's items and things on Roblox that cost thousands of dollars. It's not hard for a very young child who doesn't truly understand what money is actually worth to easily go on a spending spree and not know the damage that they've done to somebody else's bank account. Continuing on with this story, for 3 weeks, the young 6-year-old, blissfully unaware, made 501 purchases for his spoiled pets, which you could see obviously a screenshot that was taken from the news story is that this was obviously on the popular Roblox game Adopt Me. And those 501 purchases ended up gradually equating to well over 8,000 United States dollars. Now, I certainly know at this part of the video there's definitely going to be some people that are going to try to shift blame that it's Adopt Me's fault or that it's Roblox's fault, but in the grand scheme of things and the reality of this story, it really, in the end, is the parents' fault. The second they allowed their kid to unlock their iPad and be able to have access to all of their payment information, it's an oversight from their end, and it was unfortunately an oversight that ended up costing them $8,000. I don't really think anyone can argue anything else here other than the fact that it's literally just the parents' fault. I don't want to see any hate for Roblox or Adopt Me going on in my comment section about this. So then, after 3 weeks of this young child spending 500 purchases on Roblox Adopt Me, the mom and dad's bank got involved and rang them up and was like, "Hey, are you guys aware that you have spent $8,000 on Roblox?" Which I just gotta quickly comment on that for a moment. As a person with a bank account and has had one for years, obviously, I find it a little odd that the bank account only $8,000 later decided to contact the parents about it. How did the parents not see this on their bank statement either, seeing hundreds of random Roblox purchases for 3 entire weeks? Do they not check their bank account or something? There's so many questions here that I have that unfortunately are never going to get answered. Usually when it comes for bank fraud alerts, it's mostly after like a couple $100 or over $1,000 of purchases. At least for me, that's when it gets to the point where my bank gets involved and says, "Hey, did you actually make these purchases?" So that is 2 deadly sins that these parents did throughout this entire story. Number 1 is that they let the kid unlock the iPad without the parents' permission, giving them access to all of their bank account details. And number 2, they seemingly never checked their bank account for 3 weeks to notice this going on. The more I dissect dissect this story, the harder I find it to feel empathy for the parents involved here. So anyway, 3 weeks later, after this happened, the bank calls them up, and then the parents obviously call up Apple. And after some discussion, they got a little bit of the $8,000 back, but they didn't get all of it back, so they were still in debt. And if the story ended right here, then that would kinda suck, because the parents would still be out of thousands of dollars, and, you know, the kid would obviously be in some severe trouble. But as I said in the beginning of this video, fortunately, this story does end off on a good note. The parents then contacted this Greater Affair news station in Australia about it, and then the Current Affair explained the situation on their broadcast station in greater detail, and then the good news came through. A full refund. Yep, Apple decided to actually do a good thing. And let me just tell you how ridiculously lucky they are to have that happen to them, because like normally Apple doesn't give full refunds for cases like this. I'm really believing mostly they did this because it was broadcasted on a live news station, because you know, it really would not be a great PR move to keep some money that they got from some kid being stupid with spending. The money was returned, the young 6-year-old had all the payment options turned off on the iPad, and everything resumes to normal for this Australian family. I have a very peculiar question to end off this story though. Did the kid's Roblox account get deleted because of this? Because like usually when there's like charges that aren't supposed to be on a Roblox account, fraudulent charges or using a credit card without their parents' permission, Roblox generally deletes the account. So I don't know if that happened here, and I don't think we really will ever know because I obviously don't know his Roblox account. I gotta emphasize though, man, that family is ridiculously lucky that Apple decided to charge back that money, because like if not, that would have been terrible to have lost thousands of dollars from multiple mistakes building up at once. However though, I've been looking through some Twitter posts regarding this exact story, and there's a lot of people that feel the exact opposite, that the parents shouldn't have even been refunded at all, saying that it's entirely the parents' fault for this situation going down, and neither company should have been held accountable at all. One of the posts saying, these people are looking for someone to blame, it's their fault and their fault only. I completely agree. The fact that Apple gave the money back is nice, but it's not their fault. If it's anyone to blame, it's the kid. And the research on this segment is pitiful. Does it tell you that you're spending real money? Yes, it does when he buys the Robux. Do your research. Look, I'm pretty cold when it comes to these type of situations, but I'm not that bold to put blame on a 6-year-old kid that does not know any better. Like, he was just playing Roblox, man, and ended up finding out that some items cost money without realizing the actual value of real money and thinking that it was probably just play money like Robux is. Then somebody replied, as someone who used to work at Apple support, we used to get so many calls like this, and only the parents are really to blame here. You should be having your child with a child Apple ID with app purchase permissions set to parent approval only. Plus, Roblox isn't even owned by Apple. So obviously, as we could tell, as soon as this came public news, people started having huge debates as to whether it's the parents' fault, as to whether it's the child's fault, or to whether it's either the company's fault. So with everyone having watched this video and absorbing all of the information from here, I would like to know your input and your take on this. Who do you think is at fault here? Do you really think it's the kid's fault? Because I don't really think he knew any better. Is it the company's fault for having purchases in place? No, I think it's really only the parents' fault, but do let me know if you have a differentiating opinion down below in the comment section. The only thing I really question about this and why I put the full blame on the parent is how did they let this go on for 3 weeks until something finally happened? Like, that's just complete incompetence right there. I'm sorry, incompetence to the fullest extent. For one, if I was a 6-year-old child, my dad would probably instantly see me spend $8,000 on Roblox, and if that was the case, I probably would not exist right now. That's really all I gotta say regarding this entire thing. Let me know your opinion down below in the comments. The whole thing just, to me, it reeks of incompetence, because, like, they had 3 weeks to see everything, man, and they only caught it 3 weeks later. Judging from the article itself and some screenshots looking like they were from a story itself, I do believe that this story was shown live on Australian televisions, so let me know if you're an Australian viewer by any chance, if you actually caught this on air or something. They might publish this to their YouTube channel eventually, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully everyone learned something today with this video, is to please make sure you have child protection in place when it comes to any form of technology, because your kid out there will definitely spend money and not know what it's actually worth. But anyway, that's all I have. I just saw this story on my feed, and I just had to cover it, given that it was about Roblox and everything. So, once again, do let me know how you feel in the comment section. Do let me know in the comments who you do feel is at fault in this this story. And until next time, all, I'm Kaneko Kit, and thank you all so much for watching this Roblox video. If you enjoyed this or found this mildly entertaining, leave a like, consider subscribing if you're new for daily Roblox content, and I'll hopefully see you guys, girls, or whatever in my next Roblox video tomorrow. But I'll catch you all later. I'm Kaneko. See you all soon. Peace.